Thanks for joining us again. This video has taken way longer to shoot than I had intended, and it's not shooting time. It's time in between when I was actually able to do the different sessions of shooting. Today I've shot the last portion of the video. The portion before that was the target shooting, and I shot that. It was probably now 3 days ago, raining, not the nicest weather, but it turned out all right. The session before that, I probably shot 3 weeks before that, and that would have been the loading up and stuff. I had not planned to make it go nearly as long, but things have gotten in the way and I've just not been able to do as much as I'd liked. Today, this video, we're going to be finalizing the load that we're going to be using in 9mm, and the round that I'll eventually be using with my Taurus PT99 in USPSA and possibly IDPA competition. What we're really going to compare is the 5.0 grain load and the 5.2 grain load. Not going to step anything outside of those two loads in this video. We might at some other point. I have got 20 9mm cases prepped and ready. Here's what we're going to do. When I was shooting the 5 grain load with the Hodgson CFE pistol, it was great. Functioned perfectly every time. The recoil was good. What you didn't see in the last video about 9mm is that I also did a few shots, maybe it was just 10 or 20 or so with 5.2 grains. I really couldn't tell a difference. But I was thinking about it a little bit and shooting some factory ammo and comparing them, and it seems like the 5 grain load hits just a little bit lower than the factory ammunition. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little test, and we're going to load 10 rounds of the 5.0 grain load, 10 rounds of the 5.2 grain load, and then we're going to compare it to some factory Winchester white box, and we're going to shoot these off a rest with the Taurus PT99 at probably 10 or 15 yards. I haven't quite decided on the distance yet, but fairly short range, and we're just going to see how they compare, where they group, and where the point of impact is, if it's just my imagination that these were hitting lower with the 5.0 grain load, or what it is. So we're going to go ahead and measure powder. I'm going to go pretty quickly through this. I'm not going to bore you guys with the whole process, but I'm not going to fill out the powder measure too much. It's too much work and too much adjustment for just 10 cases at each load. So I'm really just going to dump powder in and trickle it. And as I almost always do, I forgot to flare the mouths of the cases. So we're going to run through and do that same flare setting we've been using. Okay, last 2 cases to flare here. And we're done. We'll turn on this scale and we're going to start out with the 5 grain load. I'm just going to fill the trickler here. And I'm pretty confident in the measuring of my electronic scale at this point. I'm going to go ahead and trickle up to 5 grains. Probably going to take a while, but that's alright. Three, 4, 4.2, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 5.0. This is definitely overboard on the accuracy department. Sue me. Make sure everything's zeroed out in between. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 9, 5. I think I've showed this to you guys before, but I'm going to show it again just in case not. I've got the 10 cases primed up with the 5 grain load. Checking for powder. It is pretty easy to tell which one got accidentally double charged. I did this on purpose just now for demonstration. But it's very easy to see which one's double charged, and that's how I like it. That didn't actually take as long as I had anticipated. We're going to move on to the 5.2 grain charge. We got 4, 5.12. Scale zeroed. Dump some in, that's 4.5, 5.2. I'm hoping, for the sake of good YouTube, that there's actually a noticeable difference between the 5.0 and 5.2 grain loads. We will see. Let's take some bullets. I'm just gonna run them in and check my overall length. If I recall, I'm not really crimping these at all. 1.151, which is about what I'm shooting for. 1.151. Perfect. We're gonna go with it. And one more. Alright, I'll check that last one just for the heck of it. Yep, 1.150 and a half. 1.151. Right in there. Good. Okay, we're going to get out some Winchester white box, shoot a group, then shoot the 5.0 and the 2.0. For you, that's going to be about 5 seconds from now. For me, that's probably going to be between 3 and 5 days from now. I will be at work for the next couple of days, and I will not be home at any point while the sun is up. So, let's jump to the range footage. When I was first setting up for this today, it was just a little bit of a mist. It was downright drippy now, straight up raining. Thankfully, I found my cell phone mount for my tripod, so I'm going to be using it as a target camera. I'm going to try to get these shots done as accurately as I possibly can. Shooting off of kind of a makeshift rest here of some stacked boxes and a bag that I should be able to hold the pistol fairly accurately in. We're going to play two groups. I have got one set of 10 rounds of the 5.0 grain and 10 rounds of the 5.2. We're just going to compare, see if there are any accuracy differences at all. I finally did order a chronograph. It's going to be coming in the next probably week or so. So hopefully, as soon as that gets here, we're going to be taking some chronograph readings with these two, and we'll get a better idea of how well these rounds are performing, and see which one, and maybe I even need to step up the load a bit, but see what power level is going to be best for USPSA shooting. So I'm going to get things set up with my target camera, and then we'll start shooting. Okay, first up here will be the 5.0 grain load. Oh, I think that's actually going to work out really well. Alright, let's see right where that hit. So we're just going to keep the same point of aim. Not used to shooting a pistol off a rest. Not too shabby so far. That was probably my fault. Right. All right. I can see from here how that did. Oh, the flash got my sock a little bit. I'm going to go look at that target, paste it up, and we will shoot the next group. Those pasters didn't stick the best, so I'm wondering if they're going to fly off a little bit on this group, but if they do, it's not a big deal. Alright, 5.2 grains. You've noticed just a little bit stouter of a recoil impulse on that one. Not much. That one was way off. It is hard to get these pistol sights lined up precisely. Alright, that was 10. No function issues whatsoever. Of course, I didn't expect any. So let's go back to the bench and we'll go over the footage. I got everything, or most everything, put away and then realized, oh, I forgot to shoot the Winchester white box for a comparison. So I've got everything set up again. The rain's still coming down, but we're gonna go for it. I'm gonna load up 10 more rounds of the Winchester white box, and we're going to see how they compare. Again, this is still at 20 yards. That didn't feel like 10 rounds, but I guess it was. Yep, we've got toasted sock and toasted mat. So we're going to take a look at, first at that 5 grain load on here. And I've got it blown up. There's just another run through of that 10 shots. And there we are. Not a horrible grouping. I was having a little bit of trouble getting the sights lined up just like they should be at 20 yards. One of the reasons I did use this big 12-inch target. Not a horrible grouping at 20 yards. I'm going to be happy with that, actually. All right, let's go on to the next load. Okay, here is the load. Let's drop this down a little bit. There, you can see it. Okay, here's the 5.2 grain load. Really, except for this shot right here, that's actually not too bad of a group. About the same as the last point. About the same as the last group. Not too different of a point of impact, although the last one might have been centered right around here a little more, and this one's maybe centered right here. But other than that, not too much difference. Okay, now let's compare to the Winchester white box. And run through that 10-shot group. Maybe this is the group I was thinking of that was more centered over here instead of in the middle. But again, about really the same group. So with these sights on this pistol, it looks like both my hand loads and the Winchester white box are pretty much matching what I can, the kind of group that I can shoot at 20 yards with a pistol off a rest. And I'm really not seeing the hand loads lagging behind, which is really what I'm looking for. I just want to be able to shoot pretty much as good as the I want to be able to shoot as good as the Winchester white box that I've been getting from Walmart, which is about the cheapest thing at this point. So I'm going to be happy with these groups that we've seen. Oh, I suppose I should talk a little bit about kind of what I said in the beginning of the video, which was that I was having trouble with the hand loads hitting a little bit lower. Well, what I hadn't realized was that my sight, I had a pin in my sight that had broken, and once I replaced that, I hadn't resighted, I hadn't readjusted the adjustable sights on this gun, so it was hitting at a different point of impact, regardless of what ammunition I was shooting. At 20 yards, it's really not too far off, but at closer distances, it was dropping way low. Say somewhere like over here. So I did end up adjusting my sights over and up a little bit, and that's helped a whole lot. Once I did that, I was hitting a 4-inch steel almost every time from 15 yards standing, no problem. I have finally gotten in my chronograph. This is the Competition Electronics Pro Chrono Digital. I will talk later about why I chose this particular chronograph. But for today, we're just going to shoot through it with our hand loads. First, I'm going to shoot some Winchester white box, just for comparison. Chronograph on here. You can see I've got this mounted really low on my target camera tripod. This is a cheap little tripod I had a long time ago. I don't remember for what. But I'm probably going to have to get a third tripod. Anyway, it's mounted pretty low, so I'm going to be kneeling down for the most part. About like this. and shooting through. I'm shooting at a steel target, so you might hear that in the background, but we're just going to shoot this 5 rounds of the Winchester white box ammo and see how much of it picks up. I have the sunshades on, but I might not need to. It's pretty shady right here. It might not even pick up as well, but we'll see. Okay, 5 rounds Winchester white box, sort of kind of aim it at a steel target. Okay, it picked up fine and registered at 1070. $11.89. 11.23. 11.70. And 11.55. That first shot was kind of low. Okay. Now I will load up 5 rounds of hand loads. And this, what I have here is the 5.2 grain load. But first I'm going to hit the string change button, and that changes it to string 2. This thing has been really intuitive to figure out. Like I said, I'll do probably a review of this chronograph later, but I was able to throw 17 caliber pellet across it and it picked it up. Okay, here's the 5 grain load. $10.61, $10.81, $10.54, $10.73, and $10.75. It did not miss a single shot. I'm in the shade with the sunshades on, and I didn't miss a single shot. Didn't give me a single error. I'm happy with that so far. And our speeds seem pretty consistent. Let me load up 5 rounds of the 5.2 grain load, and we'll see if they come closer to the 1150-ish area that the Winchester white box is coming to. I've set the chronograph now to string 3. And we're going to shoot now the 5.2 grain load. I've loaded these up within the last 10 minutes. They are fresh as fresh can get. .2 grains of, and again this is CFE pistol. $11.18, we're getting closer. $11.17. Oh, I finally did get an error, and that's probably because my chronograph is just a little out of whack on my time. So let's turn the chronograph just a little bit too far. I think I shot out of line, and I probably shouldn't be concentrating at all on hitting the target. There we go, 1085. And 1084. So 4 of those 5 shots picked up. Now let's take a look at the data, which is pretty easy to do with this particular chronograph. Okay, so there's our last shot, the 1084. Let's go back to string 1. Okay, this is the Winchester white box. We've got 1155, and we're gonna go hit the review button. There we go, 1170, 1123, 1189, and for some reason that first shot was clear down at 1070. Okay, now if I hit the button again, it'll show me the high of 1189, low of 1070. AU I can assume is average, 1141. Extreme spread of 119 because of that low shot. 46 standard deviation, and then it goes back and I just change the string. Really easy to review the data that way. Okay, now this is the 5.2 grain load. Let me flip through these shots, and we'll see a high of 1081, a low of 1054, average 1068, extreme spread of 27, and a standard deviation of 11 feet per second. That's pretty darn good. Okay, let's change the string. Now this is the 5.2 grain load. Okay, and we've only got 4 shots here, but 1118 for a high, 1084 for a low, average of 1104, so we're just over that 1100 mark. I'm going to make a quick note right here that this is the point that I realized I need to look back at the load data that I'd found on the Hodgdon website. And I'm going to post a screenshot of that up here right now. This is a load for the thick-plated, hollow base plated bullets, but from what I've heard, they should be pretty close. The max charge of 5.5 grains of CFE pistol is showing 1120 on the velocity, and we're getting awfully close right there, especially with our high shot of 1118. So I think what I'm going to do is not press the charge any, unless I find that these charges that I was loading for the 5.2 grain are varying up to 5.3, and then I might step up by a tenth, but that would be about it, because I certainly don't want to encounter any overpressure scenarios here. Extreme spread of 34, standard deviation of 17. Not bad for a pistol round. Okay, we're getting closer to our target, where we want to be with this load. Originally, I had been thinking of sticking with the 5.0 grain load strictly for economy reasons. You're going to get 25 shots. Every 25 shots, you'd get 26 with the same amount of powder. So it's really not that huge of a difference. I could figure out the percentages later, but I don't really care. We're getting enough rounds per pound of powder anyway. We're just going to go with that 5.2 grain load. Maybe I'll start adding this as a standard disclaimer at the end of any videos. Anything you see in this video, I have purchased 100% with my own money. Nothing from YouTube, nothing from any of the manufacturers that you see used here in this video. Anything here is my personal opinion. Thanks for watching.